Now that we've created our new Google site, we've become familiar with the navigational tools. We've created our themes, our color spread, and our font styles. We've also built out our pages so we have the structure of our site. We're now going to take a look at what we've created so far. Click on the preview button at the top. Remember, we put the navigation bar on the side, our banner at the top, with a button and a link. Go ahead and click on the links to the pages that we've created for the site and see how they change. There's not much difference here because we haven't really edited this much, but that will change as you build your site out. Don't forget, we also added a link to another site here. These are usually links that might be important for your visitors. In my case, Ohio social studies students. Go ahead and X out of your preview. Let's go back to our home page. And let's now build our site a little bit more, give it more meat. First thing we want to do is the way that it looks. This is how most people will judge any site in a fraction of a second based on how it looks, how easy it is for the user to digest the information that's involved. So go ahead and click on Change Image. Let's make this look a little better. When you click on Change Image, you have the option to upload from your own computer if you're working from a desktop or you have an external hard drive. But in the usual event of using a Chromebook, for instance, you don't have that option. Go ahead and choose Select Image. Here you have several options. You can choose from a gallery that Google supplies for you. You can search by URL. You can search by Google Image or Life Image through your own albums, again, if you're on a hard drive, or your Google Drive if you have images there. We're just now going to use Google Image Search, and we'll search social studies. That's general for me. Remember, whatever your site is, you want your home page to be more general so that it encompasses all of your subcategories. So let's see. That looks good, but it might not read well since it's so, it's such a white background. Let's just do the globe. There you go. I hope you saw down here, it's going to adjust for readability. So that looks pretty good. You can go to your next page. In my case, this is history. And again, let's change the image by selecting an image from Google Search. This time, let's go with Life Search. Just type in history in general. I'll just add the first image that pops up. That's a good one for history, I suppose. Now, I'm not going to go through all the pages and do this. You can do that on your own for your own website, but that is how you change the heading for each of these pages. If you don't like it, you can also reset the image, and that's going to take it away. But I like that image, so don't forget your redo button. Or I'm sorry, your undo button. Now our image is back. The other thing here for the headings is you can choose the header type. Maybe you don't want a picture at all, none of the frill. Keep it simple. Go with title only. If you want your banner to be larger, this is a good look too. I think this is a good one for home pages. Or maybe you want something to be an entire cover. This might be a good one when you're presenting a project on a particular page. I personally like the banner. I think you can't get much smaller than this, but I think it's a nice size. And immediately your viewers can go right into content below. Let's go to our home page and try that with the large banner. It's up to you. It's all preference. But that is how we're going to change those and how you manipulate the header. Let's move on to now inserting things into our site. So what are some things and tools that we can use? The first one we're going to take a look at is going to be the text box. Very simple. Enter the text box, and you're going to be able to enter text. Hello, everyone. Now, at this point, I can mess around with it. Anything that we enter into our Google site, anything. On the left-hand side here is going to have 3 options. Well, 4. The first is to delete that, right? Let's undo that. Second is to duplicate it, which right now that may not seem like the biggest deal. But when you type in a lot of information into a text box or a particular placeholder, you may not necessarily need the same content, but you like the formatting. So you may want to duplicate that and then change the words. Your third option is the paint palette here to manipulate your section background. To keep it regular, keeps it blank. You can add in emphasis 1, which is going to be your light scale color, and your text will stay black. Or you can enter in emphasis 2, which is more of your dark scale color, and your text will turn white. You can also enter an image into this and go through the same upload and select image process that we did when we talked about the heading. We won't do that. Also in your text, you're going to be able to change several things about the text itself. Let's say we want this to be bigger. Real big. Well, maybe not that big. We don't want it title size, maybe heading size. But we do want it bold. Italic? No, it's a little much for the beginning. But we would like to change where it sits within this, maybe in the center. You can also go in other directions. Maybe then we also want to add a link. We can link it to anywhere in our own site, to a different page that we have created. Or again, we can put in a link to a website, to a YouTube video, or something like that. The T with a cross through it is the clear formatting. We haven't really put too much formatting in this yet, so there's none to clear. And obviously the delete tile. Let's go ahead and undo that again. So that is a text box and all the things you can do with it. Next, let's add an image. Click on image, and again, we can go through the upload or select process. We will select, and for here, we will just type, and again, you can go through Google Drive or a URL, search your own photos. Again, I don't have anything connected, nothing in my drive. We'll search Google Images. So let's type in, good to see you. So good to see you. That's nice. Let's insert that image. You've now inserted an image right into our website. And now let's talk about a couple other things that we can do, again, with all of our stuff. All of these things. We can manipulate the size, the shape to some degree, and where it's also placed on the site. Your 4 options over here. Your fourth option, by the way, is the cross with the 4 arrow points. You can click on this over here and move this around. Now, the only reason I can move this up and down right now is because if you see the box size, it takes this whole thing up. But I don't want that to be the case. I don't want to move this whole box. I just want to move the picture. When I grab onto this, you can see these dotted lines in the background that pop up. Wide margins and narrow margins. Any box that you create, all of the things that you change in terms of size. See these dots that pop up? This means I can grab them and move them. Your image or your text box or anything is going to land between the wide columns. Only the small columns will stay in the middle. I'm going to bring this back down to normal size. And now I'm going to move this somewhere else. I want to add this next to hello everyone. I can put this here on the side where the blue line is. Now I want this to be a little bit bigger. I can shrink that down. I can take this and change that size. I can grab onto it, the cross with the 4 arrowheads, and move that. Put it underneath, see where the blue line is. Now I want to center this. Now, what if we want to embed something like a GIF? Well, it's going to ask you immediately for the code or URL. We can also embed links like YouTube videos and things like that through this. Let's go get a GIF. I like this one. Go ahead and click on that. And when it comes to this page, you can see down here, there is something that says embed. And those two left and right facing arrows, opposite facing arrows, those are the universal icons for embed. Go ahead and click on embed. It gives you the GIF embed code. Click on that, Control C. Go back to your site. You want to make sure you're in the right tab, embed code. Control V to paste it in there and click next. Go ahead and insert that. And once again, we can now move this here. And what's nice is that it goes ahead and tells you where it's from. So you're already sourced. Let's go ahead and click on the preview button to give this a look. Now, this may not be exactly what you want your website to look like, but you can see that as we do very simple things, it begins to grow very quickly. Now, if you have stuff in your Google Drive, you can also add things through your Google Drive. Let's go ahead and click on Google Drive there, and let's add a document that you want read right on your page. I'll go ahead and select one that's shared with me. I'll add a thing in my notes. Let's go ahead and insert that. And this works for Google Docs, this works for Forms, this works for all Google files and things that come out of your drive. Even a lot of the Word documents, if you use Word, the Microsoft Office at all, that'll work. Be careful with PowerPoints, just so you know. Those don't work necessarily the same as slides. But Excel sheets and Google Sheets, those work the same. Forms. And what's nice is that you can now embed this in. Now, we can work with our section background there. Let's change it to maybe a light gray. We're going to move. I can grab it and move it down here. See the blue line there. I'm going to put it there. I also want to move this maybe into the center. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and click on the preview button to see what this looks like. Scroll down. You can now see that your document is right there in the website. Here in the right corner, your viewers can pop that out to a whole new page. They can scroll down within this. X out of that. Now we can also take this and we can stretch this out and say, you know what, we want a huge document here. We want to be very visible. We can make a little bit of it at a time visible. We can stretch this whole thing out and say we're going to make a whole page available. So that's up to you, but that's how you can embed things. Let me show you one other embedding with Google Drive because I think it looks pretty cool the way it works. And that is with Google Slides. So let me find a slides to embed here. Go ahead and I do a section on teenage drug use, so let's insert that real quick. And we can move that now, and we can equal these out. But let's go ahead and click on the preview button again. And now we have a Google Slides in here. All right. And what's cool about the Google Slides is you can pop it out again like the others. You can also use it like you would right there on your computer. You can play the slideshow. And you can use these buttons to navigate through. Apparently a trial slide, but you get the gist. I think that's kind of a cool way to be able to view these things. So anyways, go ahead and X out of that. But that's putting things in with your Google Drive. As this page, the home page, is getting a little bit filled up, let's go to our history page, or just go to a different page that's blank. Let's come back to our insert tab. Now let's talk about layouts. Layouts has a collapsible option here because really these aren't necessarily needed. They just make life a lot easier. Let's take a look at, for instance, this first layout. It's a picture or a placeholder and then text, right? Well, I can easily create that on my own. I can come down to placeholder and click on that, stretch it to the same size. I can create a text box. I'm going to bring it down to this size and move it here. Now I have the same thing. I'm done. I just created the exact same thing, but clicking on that took a lot less time than having to build it myself. So all of these layouts, I'm not going to go through all of these. All of these layouts are layouts that you yourself can create. 3 placeholders to put in images or videos or Google Drive documents or whatever else, with then text boxes. That's all they are. They're just templates that allow you to quickly get something in and boom, boom, boom. It's already done. It's uniform. You have to measure things out and say, oh, I need this wider or that, there. It's already done. So those are templates. I usually collapse mine down so that way these are a little bit just more easily accessible because I don't really get down here too often anyways. So I'm up here messing around. If I need this, I open it, pop something in, close it again, I'm back to work. Now let's look at our other tools. First, let's go to, where did I already have some of this? Oh, I thought I had already created some of this. So let's go to a different page again that has nothing on it yet, and let's look at collapsible text. Go ahead and click on that and it pops right in. So your heading here might be, so my first chapter is the Enlightenment. Okay. The things that we're going to cover are the scientific revolution. We're going to cover Enlightenment thinkers. See how the Enlightenment spreads. Now it influences the American Revolution. And even here, you can see that where those words go. Over here, you can click on the down arrow to expand that out. Click the arrow up. Well, when you're in the site, it will happen, but anywhere outside of that box to collapse it again. Let's take a look at that in our preview. Click on preview. We have our navigation here. We're on the History 1 page. If you're at home, you have this. This is what we have. You can click on the History 1 page and it takes you to this. But here we have our collapsible text. All the things that we just added. Now maybe down the road you want to create a link to these. So let's X out of that. And let's say in our pages, we have created a subpage. On that, we have a subpage. Now here we are with our collapsible text. And we want to create a link to the scientific revolution. We're going to go ahead and highlight that. In the edit, we can insert a link. And right on this site, a page that I created called Scientific Revolution. Click on that and apply. Go to the Enlightenment and highlight that, create a link, select Enlightenment. Once again, let's go ahead back to our preview. Here we have our collapsible text. First, I can go to the Enlightenment page, or I can drop down and go to the Scientific Revolution section page. Go ahead and X out of that. Now, when you redo these sites, you see that the images are all the same. History 1, Enlightenment, Scientific Revolution. And if I were to create a subpage for History 2, it would just be this bland background. Okay, so you're going to have to change those images for each one. So we have our collapsible text. Back to our Insert tab. The other one I want you to focus on is the image carousel. Go ahead and click on the image carousel. Now here, you have to have at least 2 images. Click the Add button, and again, we're going to select. We'll do a Google image search. And I'm just going to type in history. No, I'll do Enlightenment thinkers. All right, so we have Montesquieu. We have Rousseau. Can't tell. Is he checked or what? It's not checked. It says he's checked here, but not up. Doesn't show it here. A drawing room. French Revolution. Those are good ones. So let's go ahead and insert those. Now we also want to be able to add captions. So as you hover over these images, you can either remove them or add text to them. So this will be, we're going to add caption, French Revolution. This is a salon. This is Baron de Montesquieu. And this is Jean-Jacques. And that is Jean-Jacques Rousseau. So I have all the captions added. I'm going to go ahead and insert. And now you can see the first image, and the dots down here show there are 3 others. If I want to click on settings, I can rearrange the images. I want Rousseau first, Montesquieu second, Salons third, Revolution fourth. Now within here, I can go settings within settings. Go ahead and click on that. Show the dots down here at the bottom. I like that because it gives the viewer an idea of how many pictures there are. Show the captions. Again, we added them for a reason. I like that. You can also then have this auto start or have them go through it manually. I like the auto start so that they can kind of continuously view it in the background. You can also change then the speed. Medium is a good one. Go ahead and update that. Again, click on View so we can take a look at what we're going to be seeing. Then we have our collapsible text. And now we have our carousel. Now what you might notice is, whoa, these guys' heads are cut off. So let's X out of here, and we need to do some manipulation with this. Let's go ahead and expand this out. Maybe we make this, we're going to make this wider. We need to make it taller. So we'll go like that, maybe a little more. And then it takes up a lot of space. Maybe we can even move our collapsible text down to here. Now it saves some room. And then we'll change our background to this. Now let's view. Looks all right. Go ahead and X out of that. Let's go ahead and add buttons as well. Now you've already seen us add a button when it comes to the banner, and adding a button in here is very much the same. So let's go ahead and click on that button, and it just again asks for the name. Click here for ODE standards. Then we can have the link to the ODE standards page. I'm sorry, the ODE link to the to the content standards. Copy that in. Now we have a button here that we can size. We can move it around. Oh, it tells you collapsible text cannot contain non-text tiles. Well, there you go. So let's maybe even shrink this down. And let's move this over. And let's bring this up. Even shrink this down more. Move this over more. And stretch this out. All right. So how that button works, go ahead again and click on the preview. Click on your button. And it takes you to your standards or whatever link that you added. Go ahead and X out of that preview. That is button. Now, placeholders are interesting because they're going to set up an opportunity for you really to add anything. So if you go here and click on Edit Placeholder, it asks for what files do you want to be able to add in here. Now, this is kind of a throwaway garbage one, but it makes it real quick and easy to, if you don't know, okay, to scroll all the way down, easily click Placeholder, click Add, and then you can add any of those things that you already want to add over here. It's kind of a quick add. Go ahead and delete those out. That's placeholders. You want to add a YouTube video. Go ahead and click YouTube. Now what you can do is either already have a YouTube link in mind, and this is what I suggest if you are a teacher. All right, you may already have a YouTube link in mind. I'll just use one of my own videos, cleaning up your workspace, get a shareable link. And I'm going to paste that right in here and search for it. The video pops up. Or you can come in here and search for things right off the fly. American Revolution. The problem with doing it this way is that when they pop up, as opposed to in a new tab of YouTube, for instance, is that in this, you can't watch the videos. So if you already know that you have a video that you want, you can go ahead and click and select it. But otherwise, I suggest getting the video link, pasting it in here, searching for that particular link. That way you know it's the video you want, selecting it, and entering it in. Change the background how you want. Let's move this whole section down. Change the size, make this video the whole set thing. We can shrink it down to fit in one particular area. But that's adding a YouTube video. Once the YouTube video is added in, you can open in a new tab to make sure you view it and it's the way you want it. You can also then edit the video itself. A few options here, hiding the controls. I've never really seen much difference there. But the progress bar, once you play the video, the progress bar that runs along the bottom here is usually red. You can change that to white. And I always allow my viewers to be able to view this in full screen, but you can stop that so it only views here in the website. But that's preference for you as well. So that's adding YouTube. The rest of these things are all toys that you can kind of play around with. Adding Google Sheets, slides, and docs and forms and charts are all very simple. Simple with same with your Drive. Adding maps is also very simple. Type in a place. Oops, if I've spelled things correctly. Select. Map is there. And again, you can move it around. Place it where you want. If you have things like My Maps, you can add those. Go to your drive. Places we'll visit. That's a My Map. I don't know. Places we'll visit. For some reason, that one could not be embedded. Let me try another My Map. I have those maps embedded on other sites, and I think that that is why. So I don't have any My Maps created right now to just throw in here. But if you create a My Map, you could throw that in there very easily through the Google Drive. So the functionality is the same. So that is all of the insert functionality, the navigation tools, the themes, and how to add pages so that you can build your own website. The other thing that you can do just to kind of finish this off is when you come up here to the three dotted menu, is that you go all the way down, you can take a tour, and this will give you a lot of good information as well. Once you have finally come to the conclusion of building your site, or it's at least good enough, certain pages are ready to launch, you're going to go up here and you're going to click Publish. You're going to name your site. So for instance, mine has always been, Henderson's World of History. Yours might be, Billy's Lemonade Stand. Whatever it is, you type that in. And if it's already taken, they'll let you know, but you can kind of create your own. I always check this, request public search engines to not display my site. I like mine to be public. I like people to visit, but that's, again, up to you. So when you're ready to publish, go ahead and do that. But that is how to build a Google site.